Welcome back, Officers Republics, your course on Underworld Police Chief APGAINS. We're going to show you the 8 best free-to-play teams, aka the Core 8, for all of you guys looking to build the best possible roster. Now, obviously, everyone starts their farming guide journey at a different point. Maybe you're starting from scratch, and you can be perfectly optimal in every way, shape, or form and have the most amazingly constructed account ever and be amazing. But more realistically, you guys have done something, and you guys are just trying to find a way to get back on track. So we're going to show you the 8 best free-to-play teams for early, for mid-game, to progress, to make sure that you're using your resources wisely, and you know that everything that you farm is going to lead to more wins. So everyone knows what the Core 8 teams are already, but this is going to go in the free-to-play farming guide playlist, where I'm going to kind of just pool together all of the guide videos that talk about farming. So if you have, you want to figure out what the actual farming guide is, it'll be the first video. If you want to figure out when to farm each GLs, what teams do what, it's all going to be there. First and foremost is obvious, CLS. Now, CLS is something that you can have pre-level 85. We'll talk about the remainder of his team, but the leadership himself, I highly recommend if you're starting a new count following the free-to-play farming guide, you want to make sure that you have CLS unlocked pre-level 85. Now, Han Solo is a raid character that is going to be 100% dependent on just what guild you happen to be in. Most guilds are able to sim the Han Solo, the normal Rancor raid, but that's just going to be a matter of time. That's kind of a variable. Chewbacca, now we'll talk about the bounty hunters in a little bit, but Chewbacca we should have relatively quickly. If you follow the guide, it's going to be very easy to get Chewbacca, and you'll be able to add him and boost up the CLS team pretty early on. C-3PO you're not going to have for a long time because it does require Ewoks, which are not great, and it's a terrible, terrible event that no one ever wants to think about and make. It's just the worst. Now 3PO and Chewie, you can use at Gear 6, Gear 7, 2 stars. What makes him great is he takes the stats from the leader and passes them everywhere, so you don't need to really invest much in him, but you do want to have him. Now, the next team is going to be GL Vader. Now, it's GL Vader now because the Datacron is making Vader kill GLs by himself. But if you're looking for early game best free-to-play teams, you're likely not playing with Datacrons too much. So it's just a nice little joke for the more experienced players there. But the second team is Empire with Vader. 9 times out of 10, if not 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to use Vader as a solo. And we'll talk about why these teams are so great, because in GAC, especially when you're early on, because these are, early game 8 best free-to-play teams, you're going to be early on. You have limited battles, right? You have limited battles, and you want to maximize your banners, right? That you usually do that 2 ways: undersizing and having enough recovery, or just not taking any damage. Now, CLS is great, especially when we get Chewbacca, because he has a great Zeta that allows us to recover health and protection. They punch up quite a bit. You can undersize and get max banners very easily. Same thing with Vader. Vader solos it's the #1 way that you're going to be getting max banners with only one character for a long time. He's amazing. If you're punching up super, super far, you can throw an EP lead to give you some extra turns. You can add in a Mara Jade or a Thrawn or a Gideon or any other Empire character as you see fit to tackle different situations, but realistically, this team is just Darth Vader. Now, the next team is Padme. Padme, another character that we're going to have relatively early on, but also is a great flex, offensive, defensive. If you see someone's Russian SLKR, a really weak Padme team is great against Max Relic First Order. You kick them, you apply, you're going to kill them with all of your, what is it called? Woohoo, courage. I was almost thinking about Mario for some reason. And Anakin applies the healing immunity. You can take out the other ones. Usually you're going to throw this on defense, especially early on, because unlike CLS and Vader solo, you're not going to have good recovery or good banners. You can undersize sometimes, but more realistically, this is just a strong defensive team. And the Galactic Republic characters are going to change depending on where you are in the game. Padme, Anakin, Ahsoka are kind of the requirements. GK when you happen to get them. If you don't have them, throw in Mace Windu. And Shakti is a character that we're going to need eventually, but this can be a plug and play to any Galactic Republic character that you happen to have. We have the Bounty Hunters. Now, most of you guys are going to run the Bounty Hunters with Bosk lead as your 3rd offensive team in the early game, because we have Vader solo, max banners, max undersize. CLS, max banners, undersize. Bosk lead, you can undersize, but what's really great about him is you have so much protection recovery that you're basically guaranteed to finish the battle with max banners. So all 3 of our offensive teams you'll see are perfectly constructed to be easy to get, very strong, and will give us the mathematical best chance to win our GACs. Because we can't control what our opponent has, what they do. All we can control is how many banners we get on offense and what we place on defense. That's why these teams are so good. That's why these teams are the core 8 teams, because they're always good. They'll never not be good, and they're the best at what they do. But as you progress into that 1.5 to 2 million GP range, running an Aura Sing lead is really great because Grief and Mando, along with Bosk, Grief will pass turn meter, Bosk will call assist past turn meter, same thing with Grief. Her contract's super easy, and as you guys know, Mando's Annihilate is, it's amazing. And then Zam Wessel is probably going to be your first Omicron if it's not Qui-Gon Jinn. We'll talk about Qui-Gon a little bit. Because she's gonna boost offense and speed and make this team a lot easier. This is likely going to be your Darth Revan counter for a while in the early game because it doesn't require a ton of investment. You just need a decent amount of speed and a couple of strategic relics on like Bosk and Zam to make sure that you're going fast enough and doing enough damage or calling enough crits that you can annihilate Darth Revan pretty early on and kind of hamper that team. But yes, in the very, very early game, you will be running Bosk lead. We have Darth Revan. Now, these are one of those teams that can change quite a bit. Some people run Marauder Sith Empire Trooper. Some people run Sith Empire Trooper HK. I frequently use them undersized on offense. Mix and match the Sith Empire. I mean, God forbid, if you have Malgus, you can throw Malgus in there. But let's be honest, like the Datacron talk we had a little bit ago, if you have Malgus, you're probably likely not. You likely already have all 8 core free-to-play teams, because if you have Malgus, you're over 4 million GP, and you've been playing for long enough to have his shards. Again, this team can change as the years go on, but basically Darth Revan, Bastila Shan, Fallen Malak. This is your anchor of your defense, right? In the very early games, it's going to be a very hard team for your opponents to beat, even if they out-GP you. And if you notice that your opponent places specific defenses, like they happen to place a strong Jedi Knight Revan on offense, you can use this against stronger opponents on offense as you require more teams. But all around fantastic, no complaints here. We have Jedi Knight Revan. We have Malak here. This team, by the way, is amazing in the early game, even if you don't have Malak. Malak makes it a lot better. Same with Malgus, but you don't need those 2 for this team to be very, very, very good. This is the antithesis of that. I generally use this team on offense, this team on defense, because this team very, very, very good at defense. It's all of its abilities kind of cater towards defense, and this team's all of its abilities cater towards offense. Similar to those first 3 teams we talked about, you can undersize, and with the recovery from Jedi Knight Revan, you can get max banners every time, especially against stronger teams. Now, Hoda's in here. You're probably not going to have Hoda. I kind of just threw him in here just because he's cute, but realistically, this is Jedi Knight Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Jolee Bindo, and any other Jedi. You can undersize whatever. Pro tip: if you have 2 less than perfect teams that you have to fight on defense, splitting up Jedi Knight Revan with Jolee and someone else as a 3-man, and then using Bastila Shan, Yoda, and someone else as a 3-man, you can get 2 teams that both get undersized max banners, and that can be a very efficient way to use your Jedi. We have General Grievous. General Grievous rounds this out because General Grievous's requirements, not only is his ship great and should be the second, always farm the Negotiator before the Malevolence. I just need to put that out there. A lot of people farm the Malevolence first, and I just want to cry every time it happens. Always farm the Negotiator first. But that being said, he's great for the ship. He's a great leadership ability, and these 3 are required for unlocking gas. We also need our Galactic Republic. We need Padme, GK, Ahsoka, Shakti, and C-3PO, which you'll notice are teams that are characters we've strategically slotted in here for you in the farming guide. Wat-Tambor, this is another character that you're just going to have either faster or slower depending on your guild. This can be Droideka. This can be any other Separatist character, Separatist droid. Wat-Tambor just happened to be higher relics when I made this team a while ago, so it was easier for me to click on him because he was at the top. But realistically, you're likely not going to have him unless he's at like 4 or 5 stars. But yes, the General Grievous team. And then last but not least, we have Gas. Everyone knows Gas is the best non-GL team, pretty much. Is that still true? I feel like we've been saying he's the best non-GL team for years now. Is there anything better? Not really. I think Gas is still the best non-GL team. He is countered by some stuff. He's countered by really good Inquisitors, really good CLS. But by and large, this team is going to beat everything on offense for the most part, except for a couple of the GLs you're not going to be able to beat. And it has few and far between counters on defense to where it's reliable to take on offense or defense, but I usually like to place them on defense. And as you notice here, all of the characters and all of the teams will be good forever and ever and ever, and they play really well off of each other, and they lead into a very fluid farm. It's almost as if I've spent 3 years concocting the perfect way, not only to explain this, but also for it to work and be as efficient and as good as possible. One quick addition real quick. A lot of people always comment about the Imperial Troopers, why they're not on the Core 8 teams. I kind of classify the Core 8 teams as will always be good no matter what, and can be very good on offense or defense. Now, with the exception of kind of this team, they are all good on offense and defense and punch up and do a lot of stuff, but come on, it's GL Vader. Like, he's a solo character with friends if you want. He has to be there because you can have him day one pretty much. Not literally day one, not like you're level 3 and you have him, but pre your first GAC, you should have a Relic Darth Vader. But a lot of people always ask about the Imperial Troopers. Now, Imperial Troopers I do have slotted in at 9, but because Core 9 doesn't sound as good as Core 8, and they don't really meet that criteria of those core teams, I have them as one of the better auxiliary teams. Now, I'll have another video at some point talking about what the auxiliary teams are. They very much complement the Core 8 in the same way that the Imperial Troopers here complement the teams that we have farmed. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you, and I'll see you later. Subscribe if you enjoy, but bye.